Hello and welcome to the Wednesday video of the Warhammer 8th Edition week on this channel. And today we're going to be looking at Index Imperium 1, which is the index for, as you can probably see, all the Space Marine chapters so far released. So, Space Marines, Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Space Wolves, Grey Knights, Deathwatch and Legion of the Damned. This is a slight, I wouldn't call it a fib, but there are more in this actual book. For example, there's also breakdowns for Ultramarine specific units. Basically, by Space Marines they mean everyone who's in the vanilla codex. So, it's a 223 page tome that includes rules for all of them as well as some painted miniatures. As you open the book, you get some lovely artwork of the four main attractions of this book, apart from Grey Knights. A nice, clear index that explains where everything is, what it is, and exactly what's in the book, no more, no less. Similar to in the main rulebook, we have a breakdown of the datasheets and an introduction just telling you what the book's about, something you'll be familiar with if you saw any of the previous edition codexes. Then you get a good chunk of history on Space Marines, a breakdown of specific rules, as well as psychic powers, specialist war gear for in the data sheets. If it tells you, for example, they can swap it for a pistol, it will tell you here pistol weapons, combi weapons, Terminator melee weapons, etc. The book isn't wholly organised HQ through to elites, through to troops, fast attack, etc. There are some scattered around, but it does largely stick to that. You'll see a big difference from the the mini codices in the starter set here, where you don't get painted pictures of the models to go with it here, other than for some rare occasions. So you get the standard vanilla list, if you would, that you can pick and choose from, including the Primaris units, which you'll see compared to regular Marines that they are lacking a lot of upgrades. For example, the Intercessor squad here, you can only take, let's call it naked, but you can only take them with no upgrades, whereas a tactical squad further on, or say a Stern Guard squad, has war gear options included. Special ammunition has been removed and replaced with a stronger version of the bolter. It's got an AP -2. And then once you're through the basic stuff, including things added in the Angels of Death detachment, such as a Tartarus and Cataphracti Terminator squad, once we're through that, which is a big chunk of the book, you then get to the Ultramarine section, where you again get some history of the Ultramarines, the artwork, and then their specific units. This is something that's repeated well throughout this, and it's the setup throughout the Black Templars, Crimson Fist. Basically, everyone who's got a special character has their own mini section and a little bit of history. Deathwatch are also included further in the book, Legion of the Damned, the works. Legion of the Damned, I'm not sure if they should be included as their own entry, because they are literally just one datasheet and that's it. But it's a nice touch to see they haven't been removed, and there is some history included here on them. Then we're into the specific things, and you'll notice a slight difference to the layout here. So, for example, we get a breakdown of extra special rules, whereas basic Astartes just had Initial Know No Fear. Blood Angels get Black Rage and Jump Pack Assault, as well as specific units they can and can't take here. Oh, sorry, the ones they can take. Basically, anyone who's not here, they can't take. As well as being able to add jump packs to certain units. They have their own psychic powers. They tell you about how to run successor chapters. And then there's some specific war gear to add to the list showed from earlier. This is the style repeated for Blood Angels, the Dark Angels. Once we get to them next, we get the Flesh Terrors, which act similar to the earlier. Dark Angels then have their own discipline, special abilities, the Unforgiven, and they get Jink. And then there's characters, certain units they can take up included here. How to run successor chapters. It's important to know here that successor chapters now, only the specific chapter they're part of can run named characters. So, for example, the Azrael, the Grandmaster, he can only be taken in a Dark Angels army, not a Dark Angel successor army, which is different from old editions where they told you to paint them up to your colours, and you get like Bazrael or something like that, who is slightly different but use the same stats. Then we're on to Space Wolves, which again follow the theme of what you can take from the standard, as well as some different stuff they've got. Space Wolves are a larger section than the other ones because they had a lot of different units in them, mainly HQs. And then the next section we move on to then is the Deathwatch, and the Deathwatch get to keep special issue ammunition, which works similar to the old edition, where you've got Dragonfire bolts, which instead of ignoring cover, just add one to hit units in cover. So it doesn't affect their cover save, but it will be easier for you to hit. Hellfire rounds, which wound everything on a 2+. Kraken bolts, which add a 3-inch to your range if it's a bolt pistol, or 6 inches otherwise, and improves the AP of everything by 1. So essentially, Kraken bolts turn your Deathwatch Marines bolt guns into bolt rifles used by Primaris Marines, and then Vengeance rounds, which improve the attack, the AP by 2, but reduces ranges by 3 and 6 for pistols and other weapons. Deathwatch have got a bigger roster of stuff to add to, but they've also got a smaller selection of units to pick from. The Deathwatch kill team, I'm pretty sure, works more or less the same way. You can include Terminators, Bikers, Vanguard, Veterans in the squad. You get Watch Captain Artemis as a named character and a normal Watchmaster. Then you can take Terminator squads and Vanguard Veterans individually, and you can still take, but now you can't take them as individual squads. They have to be taken in squads of 5 or more. You get their Corvus and you get the Deathwatch Biker Squad, and then a big art page of miniatures, and then onto the Grey Knights, which are again similar to Deathwatch and Space Wolves, where they don't really take a lot from the vanilla list, but take more from their own things, as well as having their own psychic discipline there. So the Grandmaster, the Deathwatch and Grey Knights, as well as some other characters, get some specific painted miniatures, but on the whole it's largely left pictureless. And then at the back of the book we've got a detachment slot and how to write your army list. You get an example where you break it down, so they use Ultramarines here. So basically you have an army roster list where you have to write all the different detachments you use, as well as command points and warlord trait. And then it tells you how to write the detachment, where you have to write the point of the models, then their war gear, then their total points. So it's very, this is what I'm taking laid out very clearly. Then you get blank copies to print out. I wouldn't be surprised if these are going up on the download section of Games Workshop's website. Then we're on to the points value. Points in this game now, you pay points per model, and other than named characters it doesn't include war gear. Then you buy the war gear which have points on the next page. For example here. And here it lets you avoid certain things. So in previous editions you were buying a Stern Guard Veteran Squadron, as is, for X amount of points. Then you had to pay to upgrade to a combi weapon. Now you take the Stern Guard squad, and if you're taking one combi weapon, you just pay for a combi weapon rather than the special issue bolt gun and then a combi weapon on top. Then we've got profiles for every weapon included in this book, as well as the specific special ones here. And that wraps up this book. So some final thoughts on the book. It's solid. It's definitely, though I'd say, stopgap for full codexes where we'll see specific rules for, say, Ultramarines, Black Templars, etc. But for now this works. I think the full codexes will look similar to what the Grey Knight section looked like, where the data slates are there with a painted miniature below it to show you what it is, as well as including a army-wide special rule for each chapter. But for now, to get the game started, it's good, it's solid. My only issue I have with the book is there's differing point values between here and here for the Primaris Space Marines on literally everything. Intercessor squads, for example, the individual Marine goes down from 24 points a model in this book to 20 points a model here. Now, I'm assuming that you would use the points values printed here because this is the one everyone will be using. Until a official ruling comes out for that, you might see some people abusing it to get the cheaper units, to get your cheaper picks between these two. Like, I believe the Primaris Captain is more expensive in here, whereas it's cheaper in here. So that's just something to keep an eye on with your opponents when you're playing this game. So that wraps up this video. I'll see you tomorrow for a review of Index Imperium 2, which includes the rest of the Imperium. I'll see you then.